Hello, man of word, we truly appreciate that you joined us. We are glad that we can support you in your further development. Today's topic is about 4 lessons that everyone should learn from the book Awaken the Giant Within, written by Tony Robbins. So, let's begin. Welcome to amanofword.com, the most refreshing network in the business world. Why should you pay close attention to this? 1. You will learn how a question works. 2. You will learn what are the problem-solving questions. And 3. You will learn why it is important to ask yourself quality questions. So, let's dive in. Lesson 1, what is thinking? In this book is written that, then I thought, is it possible that evaluations are nothing but questions? And I started laughing and thought, well, isn't that a question? I began to realize that thinking itself is nothing but the process of asking and answering questions. If after reading this you're thinking, that's true or that's not true, you had to ask yourself, either consciously or unconsciously, a question, and that question was, is this true? Or even if you thought, I need to think about that, what you're really saying is, I need to ask myself some questions about that. I need to consider that for a moment. As you consider it, you'll begin to question it. We need to realize that most of what we do, day in and day out, is ask and answer questions. So if we want to change the quality of our lives, we should change our habitual questions. These questions direct our focus, and therefore how we think and how we feel. Lesson 2, quality questions create a quality life. In this book is written that, I asked people in my seminars, in airplanes and meetings, I asked everyone I met, from CEOs in high-rises to homeless people on the street, trying to discover the questions that created their experience of day-to-day life. I realized that the main difference between the people who seemed to be successful, in any area, and those who weren't was that successful people asked better questions, and as a result, they got better answers. They got answers that empowered them to know exactly what to do in any situation to produce the results they desired. Quality questions create a quality life. Businesses succeed when those who make the decisions that control their destiny ask the right questions about markets or strategies or product lines. Relationships flourish when people ask the right questions about where potential conflicts exist and how to support each other instead of tearing each other down. Politicians win elections when the questions they raise, whether explicitly or implicitly, provide answers that work for them and their community. I'm here to tell you that the difference between people is the difference in the questions they ask consistently. Some people are depressed on a regular basis. Why? They conduct their lives with limited movements and hamstrung physiology, but more importantly, they focus on things that make them feel overloaded and overwhelmed. Their pattern of focus and evaluation seriously limits their emotional experience of life. Could this person change how they feel in a moment? You bet, just by changing mental focus. So what's the quickest way to change focus? Simply by asking a new question. When people are depressed, it is more than likely due to asking themselves disempowering questions on a regular basis, questions like, what's the use, why even try, since things never seem to work out anyway. Remember, ask and you shall receive. If you ask a terrible question, you'll get a terrible answer. Your mental computer is ever ready to serve you, and whatever question you give it, it will surely come up with an answer. Lesson 3, how do questions work? In this book is written, questions accomplish 3 specific things. 1. Questions immediately change what we're focusing on and therefore how we feel. If you keep asking questions like how come I'm so depressed? Or why doesn't anybody like me? You will focus on, look for, and find references to back up the idea that there is a reason for you to feel depressed and unloved. As a result, you'll stay in those unresourceful states. What will really change the way you feel is asking, what am I happy about now? What could I be happy about if I wanted to be? How would that make me feel? If you keep asking questions like this, you'll come up with real references that will make you begin to focus on reasons that do in fact exist for you to feel happy. You'll feel certain that you're happy. You and I can change how we feel in an instant, just by changing our focus. 2. Questions change what we delete. Human beings are marvelous deletion creatures. You and I have so many millions of things going on around us that we can focus on right now, from the blood flowing through our ears to the wind that may be brushing against our arms. However, we can consciously focus on only a small number of things simultaneously. Unconsciously, the mind can do all sorts of things, but consciously we're limited in terms of the number of things we can focus on simultaneously. So the brain spends a good deal of its time trying to prioritize what to pay attention to, and more importantly, what not to pay attention to, or what to delete. If you're feeling really sad, there is only one reason, it's because you're deleting all the reasons you could be feeling good. And if you're feeling good, it's because you're deleting all the bad things you could be focusing on. 3. Questions change the resources available to us. At any moment, the questions that we ask ourselves can shape our perception of who we are, what we're capable of, and what we're willing to do to achieve our dreams. Learning to consciously control the questions you ask will take you further to achieving your ultimate destiny than almost anything I know. Often our resources are limited only by the questions we ask ourselves. One important thing to remember is that our beliefs affect the questions we'll even consider. Many people would never have asked the question, how can I turn things around? Simply because everyone around them had told them it was impossible. They would feel it was a waste of their time and energy. Be careful not to ask limited questions, or you'll receive limited answers. The only thing that limits your questions is your belief about what's possible. Lesson 4, Problem-Solving Questions. In this book is written that, you and I both know that no matter what we're involved in our lives, there are going to be times when we come up against these things we call problems, the roadblocks to personal and professional progress. The question is not whether you're going to have problems, but how you're going to deal with them when they come up. We all need a systematic way to deal with challenges. So, realizing the power of questions to immediately change my state and give me access to resources and solutions, I began to interview people and ask them how they got themselves out of problems. I found out that there are certain questions that seem to be somewhat consistent. Here is a list of the 5 questions I use for any type of problem that comes up, and I can tell you that these have absolutely changed the quality of my life. If you choose to use them, they can do the same for you as well. 1. What is great about this problem? 2. What is not perfect yet? 3. What am I willing to do to make it the way I want it? 4. What am I willing to no longer do in order to make it the way I want it? 5. How can I enjoy the process while I do what is necessary to make it the way I want it? What are the best things to remember from this? 1. Thinking is the process of asking and answering questions. 2. Quality questions create a quality life. And 3. When a problem occurs, ask the problem-solving questions. Well, our list ends here. Let us know in the comment section what are your thoughts about our list. Thank you for watching until the end, and if you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell button to be notified for every new learning opportunity. And always remember, man of word, be aware of the person that you can become.